Hey, what's up? So I wanted to make a follow-up video, and in the first video, I talked about my origin story, kind of how I got started, got into where I am, the market, the business, and all that. But that was just the start, kind of me telling you what transpired that drove me to become an entrepreneur. Now, just to summarize that one, and you should go back and watch it if you haven't, I'll link to it underneath. I didn't become an entrepreneur by choice. No one in my family was running a business. In fact, even when I was running a business, my parents used to tell me that, hey, I should get a job just in case this doesn't work out. And that was even when I was making about 5 figures a month. But this is the kind of mindset I had to fight with as I was sort of building up. But I want to share this with you because I want to tell you what happened next. So where I left off was that I was let go from my work and I had to switch countries and I had to kind of make my own way. And this kind of very interesting thing that happened there too. When I got my severance pay from my workplace, I was left with about 4,000 euros and I came to Finland. I came to Finland because at that time I was dating someone from Finland and I also wanted to kind of make my future there. I didn't want to go back to India because I think given that I had been in England for about 7 years, I had changed a lot over time. And actually, looking back, India had changed a lot over time as well. Now, this is something, side note, that I've learned recently, is that our idea, like when we leave home and when we move abroad, our knowledge of that country is still stuck at that age when we left. So I left India when I was 17. And by this time, I was like 24. And my vision of India was still what it was when I was 17. And of course, India had changed in 7 years, and now I'm 39. In the last 15 years, India has changed a lot, like a lot. And we still associate how we look at our home country based on the time we remember when we left it. But that's not here nor there. Let's talk about then what happened when I got to Finland. So I had limited amount of money. It was something that I didn't know when I would get more income because I didn't have any source of income back then. In fact, I would only spend money at that time. And I had a really, really bad mindset about money. And I can understand that happens. And you've got like 4,000 euros, dollar, pounds, or whatever to your name. You're like, I got to save the last cent of it. I don't want to rely on others. So I got to make sure that I never run out of money. At least that was the ideas that was instilled in me from my parents. So I stayed with this girl and in her mum's place, actually, because she was staying with her family still. And that relationship, unfortunately, collapsed quite quickly. And I'm telling you this because it's important to know what my mindset about money was. Even though I had the money, I didn't want to move out because I thought, hey, that's the money for a rainy day. That's not the money I should use right now to find a place to stay. Even though there was a rainy day, I just didn't realize it. So it was quite a bad state of things. And I was in a very, very scarcity mindset in relation to money. So I just, persevered in that situation. And while I was doing that, I thought, okay, I'll find a few jobs. I'd already been doing some kind of writing before, and that was okay. Those jobs are still continuing, freelance writing. And so I decided to try out some new things. So I got into this cold calling line of work as well. So there's this company in the US that paid me about $4 an hour for cold calling, and they said you get commissions on top. I did that work for about 4 weeks, couldn't close a single sale. And I think I did about on average 5 calls a week. So it wasn't a very high paying work, but I quit that because I just thought it's not something I'm good at. It's not working out for me. So I let that go. And then in 2011, I had to go back to India. Like nothing was working out and I couldn't stay in Finland anymore because at that time I was on a tourist visa. And I was probably doing like 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week sort of thing, just in case the immigration authorities are looking at this. But the point is that I went back to India for a year to kind of figure stuff out. And I thought, okay, I'll see if India has anything to offer to me, if I have anything to offer to India. I went back, applied for lots of jobs. In the meantime, I was continuing my writing work. I applied for jobs, but nothing really materialized for me, unfortunately. Nothing really worked out for me. I went to a few interviews, and I remember with this one particular interview, and they found out that I had been to the UK. And this guy, who's supposed to be my line manager if I get hired, he's like, you know so much, you should be in my seat. I'm like, well, give me your seat. He's like, well, no, that's not what the job is for. So they wanted someone at that time for an entry-level position, which I genuinely thought was beneath me. Which, back then in India was about like 25,000 rupees a month. It wasn't a lot. Like, it really was not a lot. And so that was about, I think, £400. I'd been working at about £2,000 a month, more or less. So it just didn't suit me. So I couldn't get a job. Early 2012, I moved to Finland because my scholarship came through, and I was now in a place where I could kind of study. So I started studying. I was still doing a few gigs here and there, but I was doing these writing gigs for other marketers back then. So in fact, one of them was, I got an email about the product that I could purchase and learn how to set up WordPress. So I'm like, hey, this is really good. Maybe this is what I need to do. So I got that. I started doing blogging. I started, doing like one new blog a week sort of thing. But I was quite bad at keeping up with it. So I'd do like 5 or 6 blog posts and let it go, and then do another one, so on. So this is again early 2012. I get a chance to go to a marketing event that was happening in the UK. I applied for a visa because with an Indian passport, living in EU, you still need a visa to go to the UK. So I got a visa, went there, and I was talking to this one guy, and I told him that, I'm kind of learning to be a copywriter now. And he said, well, what do you need to become a copywriter? I said, well, I'm mentoring under this guy, Colin Terrill, and I want to get his like 1-year mentorship, but it's like $5,000. And I don't have that much money. So he said, you know what, tell you what, you cover 2,000 yourself, I'll give you 3,000. And over the course of next year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, when I need some work, I'll give you that work. And you just kind of like, we'll assume this 3,000 is retainer for that. So I was like, great, that sounds good. So I did that for a year. I did copywriting mentoring, early 2012, mid 2012 with Colin Terrill. Great teacher. I learned so much about copywriting from him. And that allowed me to go out there and find other clients for whom I could do email copywriting. I found this one client from Brazil, Rodrigo, and he was like pretty laid back guy, like chill guy. And he said, just take over my email list and you can mail this list with affiliate offers and I'll give you 30% of whatever you make. I'm like, that's awesome. He was really happy because it was all passive for him. And I was really happy because, hey, I got 30%. And that actually was not great money, but still I was making $2,000-3,000 a month on that. So it was quite nice. And I remember with him, I was quite new to email marketing. So the very first email I wrote and sent, I used Aweber and I forgot to put a subject line in. Right? So people literally got an email without a subject line. So he had like crazy open rate. He had like, on an email list, which was typically getting 15-20% open rate, he had 45% open rate. So he was really happy with me until he looked at the email. He was like, what the hell did you do? I'm like, so sorry. I just, brain fart, made a mistake. He's like, don't worry about it. Like, he was really laid back. I got a few other clients. Some were a lot stricter. They'd give me like 5%, 10%, which really wasn't worth the money, but I learned a lot with them as well. So gradually in 2012, I was making inroads by just doubling down on freelancing and doing more of that work. But again, that allowed me to look at what other people were doing. So a lot of people ask me now, like, Neil, if you had to get started, what do we do? I'd say get a job, like literally get a job in the market that you want to go into. Go follow someone that you like, that you care about, and the market that you want in, and understand what they're doing. Because if you can figure that out, number one, you get paid while you do that, right? So you're not doing something for free. You're not risking your own money. You get paid. Number two, you learn so much by doing. So even now, I'm quite happy to bring on people as an intern, let's say, offer them less than what they would pay in a full-time position otherwise, but they get to learn a lot and they contribute to the company. And a year or two down the line, they can branch off and do their own thing. So I'd advise you to do the same. If you've been wanting to break through an industry, but you're like, hey, do I have to buy a $5,000 course to do so? No, just go to someone that's already doing it and say, look, I'll work on half the price for you. Just do that. And that's going to set you up. You'll work for a year or two, but that's going to give you so much valuable information. You could either, of course, upgrade in their own company, or you could go and set up your own. So that's the advice for this video. And then in the next one, I'll talk about product launches, how we got into that, what kind of prompted the whole thing, and the big issue with Facebook that cost me a lot of lawyer fee. So we'll talk about that in the next video.